Facebook Marketplace, you can buy a ping pong table from Gabriel, or you can sell a record player to Taylor. Because on Facebook Marketplace, there's a face behind the things you'll find here. Facebook Marketplace. Shop with real people for really great finds.
Blog Talk Radio.
Well, you know, it's Sunday, and it just occurred to me that I haven't done a Sunday show in what seems like forever, and there's probably a reason for that. It's 10 o'clock. I don't even know that I'm awake. Just kidding. I've been awake since like 7 o'clock, and surprised I can't sleep. If you follow me, you already know that I can't sleep like every other day. Anyways, hello to all you folks on this lovely, beautiful Sunday morning. I don't know what it's like by you guys. I know that I heard yesterday that New York City was rainy and crappy. Well, guess what? It's trick-or-treat day today. It's my cast meeting today, and it's raining. Oh, joy. It's one of those mornings where you wake up and you're like, I'm half tempted to go put some of that Bailey's in my coffee, and I might just do that. Anyways, I want to do some really quick announcements for all you folks before we get the beautiful, engaging, and lovely lady herself on the line, Laura Dowling Shea. A couple quick reminders. Today is October 28th, so officially it is the absolute last day to put in your submissions for my Art is Alive Film Festival Los Angeles scenario. Obviously, Laura herself has submitted some films, so we'll find out about hers. But more importantly, 3 different formats we're taking this year. It's a little bit different from my New York City Film Festival in that I do accept music videos up to 10 minutes, and I've had some great ones, folks, by the way. Also, we were taking features and shorts of all different genres up to 90 minutes. And then, of course, TV pilots, which is something I haven't done. I'm trying to kind of expand my horizons a little bit. Not sure we're going to do it again in L.A. a second time, but what the heck, it's worth a shot. So, submission fees broken down to $20. Why? Because independent filmmakers are broke. Why lie about it? And they're, submitting to about 75,000 festivals. So it's very, very important to me, of course, that people get a chance to submit, get their work out there. So visit the Art is Alive Film Festival.yolasite.com. That's my main website. You can submit off of there. Or, obviously, filmfreeway.com, Art is Alive Film Festival Los Angeles. Quick reminder that my next show, obviously, will be on Monday, and I am interviewing the father of the legendary, the person that I speak about all the time, my mentor in New York City, the illustrious grand director himself, John Gallagher. His father, Vincent Gallagher, is coming on the show Monday at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, and that's to finish off the second part of his interview. So super excited, very humbled he's coming on the show. He's like family to me now. So super excited about that one. A reminder on my film, 100 Looks of Love, starts filming, November, Thanksgiving weekend. We start in Wisconsin here, so super excited. Still looking for cast and crew in New York City. Cast, probably primarily one more actor and background actors. Obviously, of course, nobody can have enough crew. I'm sure Laura would tell you this in a moment. So please, if you're interested in being in 100 Looks of Love, it's a short film. We're looking at 15 minutes at present time, and I have a stupendous cast. In fact, some of them are from the Green Lounge, the Actors Green Lounge, which we're both familiar with. Please go ahead and send me an email, CIN4251@gmail.com, which is 100 Looks of Love. You can check it out. Cindy is working on the website, but let's get real. I have 100 things to do, so I'll get to it eventually. Obviously, or just approach me on social media. On my regular page, Cindy Mich, or else on the Cindy Check Corner page, send me a note and say, hey, I heard about this crazy film you're doing. And by the way, if you are going to approach me, just keep in mind this is 150% improv. There's no screenplay. It's an outline, so be prepared. And we're doing 6 genres and actually kind of stealing tricks from 6 legendary directors. Could not be more excited, could not be more proud, and I'm super excited my cast is coming over today. So without further ado, I'm sure you're sick of listening to me. You all want to listen to Laura, so let's get her on the line and start talking to her. Laura?
Hi. Yes. Hi, Cindy. How are you?
That's a lot. There's a lot to cover there, so I apologize for keeping you holding there so long. We always
Not
have to
at all. Fascinating.
There's a lot happening in Cindy's little world today. So, I'm like squeezing you in literally because I still feel like junk, sadly. I know my listeners, and you know this already. I've had the flu for the last 2 days. This morning I woke up, and, there's a little Bailey's in the coffee. I'm like, this has got to help because I got a cast meeting today. All the cast is coming. It's exciting. It's nerve-wracking. There's a lot happening. So I was like, you're like my excitement for the day. This is like it. This is
awesome.
The best it's going to get today. So thank you for being so gracious, and thank you for being so patient. And there's so much to talk about because I Googled and snuck on you. So I know a lot about you now, a lot more than I did before. So I want to jump over all different sorts of things. The first thing I want to talk about is this really your first talk radio date ever? Because I saw that you notated that on Twitter. Oh, my God, now I'm like so pressured and excited and nervous all at once. I know very recently that you appeared on Laura Loves New York City, and obviously we want to give a big shout out to her, talk about her show a little bit, and then talk about, it seems nowadays that there's this trend going on, not only in independent film, meaning that we have all these film festival circuits going on, but more importantly, media is really embracing the independent in terms of actors, producers, directors, filmmakers. So talk a bit about that experience, about being on her show, and more importantly, let's give her a big shout out in terms of how do we find her, et cetera, because sadly I didn't hear about her until I looked at your wall, so I didn't know about her.
Yeah, Laura Daniel. She's an amazing actress. She's a triple threat. She's producing her own talk show, Laura Loves New York, and she is so much fun to hang out with, and she's got the best laugh ever. And she and I met and did a challenge, I think it was a 7-day film challenge where we just made short films with our iPhones for 7 days and shared them. And we got really connected and support each other tremendously, and took another wonderful challenge course called 100 Days to Getting Gear for the Next Tier with Bonnie Gillespie. And so through those two things, with Ella Tier's film challenge and Bonnie Gillespie's 100 Days, she and I have become really good friends, Laura and Laura. And so I was a guest on her show, and she takes people all over the city to their favorite place, and she interviews them at that favorite place. So she's kind of got, it's wonderful. It's so informative.
God, I still have to do that show. That's awesome.
It really is. So I took her to my favorite spa, which is Modern Sanctuary, which is in New York City. And we did the interview in the salt bath, which is this gorgeous room with LED light therapy and Himalayan sea salt being infused into the air. And we sat in these comfy chairs and had our interview, our visit together. So, highly recommend her show. She's really she does a lot of research on her topic and the places where she shoots. And so it's really informative, and it's a real inside look at New York City. So definitely check out her show, Laura Loves New York. It's on YouTube, and she's got a Facebook presence and Twitter and Instagram. All Laura Loves NY is how she is her handle.
That's wonderful. And Laura, if you're listening in, please, please, please get a hold of me. I would love to host her on the show. I'm always so excited about hosting like fellow hosts. I think it's so interesting to find out, tap into their mindset a little bit, see how they do their stuff. And she sounds very engaging. So awesome. Definitely. Number one, folks, you have to check out her interview, and I definitely will be doing that. Yeah. She's fascinating. From what I've seen of her, like I said, I don't know a whole lot.
Yeah.
So that's number one. You have to watch her on there.
She's a fabulous...
Really?
Yeah, she's a fabulous singer. Yeah, she's a fabulous singer and actor as well. And, and she just happens to be good at a lot of things. So she's also doing this the show, Laura Loves New York. Yeah.
And she's female, and I absolutely love that. Not that we don't love our boys, because we do, because obviously I love my guys because we work with them all the time. But that's awesome, so I'll have to check her out. That's number one. Now, one of the found out about you, people talk to me about doing this a lot, and I'm like, I know I need to take it seriously. So I'm sure after talking to you, you'll push the button. Being a Reiki master, I know a few in Milwaukee because that's where I'm from, and I obviously I didn't know that you were one as well. I would like to talk about the benefits of that because my audience is not familiarized with yoga and Reiki and all that good stuff. Could you please talk to me a bit about what steered your boat, so to speak, to go in that direction, how long you've been doing it, and what are the benefits for those of us who have never experienced working with a Reiki master before?
Oh, that's a wonderful subject. Thank you. Reiki is an ancient healing modality that allows the body to energetically go into a healing state. So homeostasis is where the body can repair itself. And so now, actually, a lot of hospitals are using Reiki pre-surgery and post-surgery, but they find that there are statistics that show that if you have Reiki sessions leading up to a surgery, there often are better outcomes. So it's pretty powerful stuff, and it's clothes on. You're on a massage table. At least that's how I practice, and you can hover your hands over the person or lay on hands with, top of head, shoulders. If you haven't had a Reiki session, I highly recommend it. The most magnificent energy. It's relaxing. There's nothing required of you except that you lie still on a table and relax. And who doesn't want to do that for an hour?
Oh, my God, right? Absolutely. I have to try it. And you know what it is? It's just really a matter of time. I think most of us who are so actively involved in so many things, and especially now my body has been breaking apart the last 2.5 years, and I keep saying, oh, the movies, I'm doing a movie. In fact, the feature after I do the short one is all about healing thyself, so to speak. So I feel there's a lot of therapy in the movie process. But it's been recommended to me, this and Reiki and yoga, I should say, quite a bit. And so that's why I wanted to bring that up. I'm like, okay. Now, do you work with people, because I'm curious to see how often you get a chance to work with people, because let's get real here. You're a producer, you're an actress, you're running around all over the place. Is this a big bulk of your time, or you kind of just squeeze this in terms of working with individual clients, et cetera?
I have some clients that I work with. I work out of the Lighthouse, which is a wonderful place up in my area in Croton-on-Hudson, New York. And Kathy Anisi is the founder of the Lighthouse Retreat and Wellness Center. And so I'm on call. She's a primary Reiki. She's the Reiki master who taught me. And she runs a wonderful practice and has all kinds of healers and different modalities offered in her practice. And so I occasionally practice out of there. It isn't I learned Reiki to heal myself. And then it's such a gift. And as some Yogi Bijan says, if you really want to learn something, teach it. And so I began to offer Reiki to other people as a way to reinforce it for myself. But I primarily do it as a way to heal and calm myself. It's very powerful, and once you learn how to do it, and it doesn't take a lot, you can practice it on yourself every day, wherever you are. I sometimes do it before I audition. I'll do a little Reiki so I can sort of, I do, and so I can ground in and really feel in that comfort zone. It's very comforting. Yeah.
Oh, that's very, very cool.
So come next time you are in New York, if you want a Reiki session, you come. We'll work it out.
Oh, my God, that's awesome. I'm coming, actually. I'm coming soon. I'm November. I'm actually coming in right after Election Day, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I have to be in town from the 7th to the 10th. So there you go. I'm coming very soon.
Okay, good.
We're all excited.
It's done.
Okay.
It's done.
Oh, my God, I'm so excited. So that leads to my next question, which is this. Okay, so just so you folks know, because I had the benefit and good fortune of meeting Laura for the very first time at my film festival this last year. And so one of the things that I noticed, and I'm sure it'll make her blush, but I'm not going to lie to you, go creep on her on social media. First thing you're going to notice is she looks like she's about 35. I'm 49 going on 50. I'm short, I'm fat, and everything is dwindling. So here's my question to you, Laura. How the hell do you end up looking like you're 35 with that figure and that face, etc.? And here I am sitting here struggling, trying to lose weight and look as good as you. Help a girl out.
Oh, please.
I don't know what to do anymore.
Oh, please.
I ain't lying.
You're so
not
sweet.
lying.
You are the sweetest.
I'm so honest.
I'm going to have to send you a picture. I was just up at my sister's house last night looking through boxes of old photographs, and the first thing that I kept saying is, I was so thin.
Right? It's frustrating getting older. It's like, oh, my God, what do I have to do here to stay thin? I'm telling you, I've changed my diet. I exercise. I've started to jog. I'm going back to the gym. But it's that damn hormone thing. I'm telling you right now, folks, you men don't have to worry about this because I think it's a female thing to a certain point. I think no matter how hard we try to a certain extent, there's some things that work against us. So in all honesty, I do want to know, how do you keep yourself, because you look so vibrant and you look so full of life. And so I wasn't sure if there's a secret to that success, honestly.
I don't think it has anything to do with diet and exercise. I know that sounds crazy because I am not thin and I'm not. And I think what you are, I hope that you really are seeing what you're seeing, but I think what that comes from is I'm doing what I love and I'm happy. And I think happiness radiates, and I don't think it has anything to do with your shape or your size or your looks or your height or your hair color. I think it has to do with what's radiating out from what happiness you feel inside. That's my opinion. So I'm happy that you're seeing that because that's not what I see when I look in the mirror. I don't,
Oh, my God, woman. Well, you better look closer. Good God. Come on.
So
seriously.
Well, I'm not unhappy. I think part of getting older is acceptance, too. Acceptance of the changes that come. I mean, we are in a business, especially in theater and film, that is so based on, it's so image conscious and it's so ingrained in the culture that a certain look is the right look. But that's not how it's always been. And and it's not realistic for everyone in the population. In fact, for most people in the population, the standard of beauty that is set up in Hollywood is not attainable unless you make yourself sick. And so I'm not willing to make myself sick. I want to be fit and healthy. And of course I look at magazines and I say, oh my God, I wish I could look like that. I wish I could wear that, of course. But at the end of the day, I want to be healthy. I want to be happy. I want to feel good. And so hopefully that shines out, regardless of how many pounds I put on or, whatever. But thank you.
Oh, of
and
course,
by the
anytime,
way,
as a matter of
gorgeous. In fact, I'm looking at a picture of you right now in your beautiful dress that you wore at the festival, and I'm like, what is she talking about? So,
oh my God, listen to her. Well, I did have 4 different outfits because obviously the festival is 4 different days. And I won't lie to you. I mean, obviously, when you become a founder of anything, as you know, when you're the boss of something, you always really, really want to look your best, clearly. And I really did want to look impressive. And I won't lie to you. There's a cute fellow that was there, and I wanted to get his attention. There's an actor that was there, and I was like, I really want to get this man's attention. So what do? I dress a certain way, and it got his attention. So I was like, that was lovely. But no, I appreciate that. I really do think I'm a reflection of what's around me. So I'm working my way towards what you're talking about, which is I do what I love, but it's very stressful. I'm trying to find my way to that. We all have to find our way in terms of what makes us happy and how it makes us happy. So I'm just doing too much of what I love. I have to cut back a little bit. But I'm not lying to you folks. Go to Instagram, go to Twitter, go to her Facebook, go look at her Vimeo, go look anywhere at her. I'm not lying about this. Not lying, which is a good segue to my next question. So you're married. So first of all, single boys that are listening, you can't hit on her. That's number one. No hitting on Laura. So let's talk about that a bit, because I oftentimes bring this question up to everybody that comes on that's married or in a committed relationship. I tend to believe that being in a personal relationship enhances you professionally and personally in many ways. So tell me a bit about your husband. Tell us a bit about, is he a creative, how you met him, because we like love stories, and most importantly, what does he bring to the table that makes you a better person, period?
Oh, what a great question. So we met years ago when I was living in the city, and he was in Stanford, and he was visiting a cousin, and they were in my neighborhood, and I had just stopped for a nightcap on my way home from a long day. So yes, people do meet in bars, and it does work sometimes. So we met in an Irish pub. He asked me for my number, and I thought, he's never going to call me. And I went home on my merry way, and he called me the next day. And he is, he's very creative, but he works also like me. We're very similar in that way, the left brain, right brain. He's an accountant by day, and he plays classical guitar. That's his creative outlet. And it's wonderful to have that music in the house. I love having music in the house, and living with a musician is really wonderful. He tends to play for himself. He occasionally plays with other people, and he plays backgammon now competitively. He just started playing backgammon. So I think what he brings to my life that is unique and I value so much among many, many things is that ability to pursue my passions, because he's doing the same, and we support each other in finding those things that make us happy, and that's, I think, a wonderful thing. I can't imagine it any other way. I'm very grateful to have the strong, solid relationship that I have now. I will tell you, he's not tolerant of hanging out and doing the social thing that a lot of acting involves, the film festivals. He's not, and that's fine. Sure. And he stays home. We have a 16-year-old, so they hang out at home. And honestly, I'm not so crazy about watching backgammon for hours and hours. So it works out really well.
That's so cool. Now, we have to talk about the 16-year-old for a minute, because clearly Mom has been in business for some time, but now Mom is obviously in the acting scene. So has your child come to you and been like, hey, Mom, give me some guidance? Have you kind of been trying to persuade your child to go into the same genre as yourself, or are we not there yet in terms of no direction? Because at 16, they're still trying to find their way. My 23-year-old's still trying to find her way.
Yeah, it's a really embryonic stage of life. He's very interested in history. He's a huge history buff. He does Model UN with his school. He's very interested in justice, and he reads constantly. He's an avid reader. He was in The Spilling, one of the shorts that I produced, and he was the pizza delivery boy, largely because we forgot we needed one until the day of the shoot, and we were shooting. You use what you have when you're making low budget indie films, and we were like, Joe, you think you'd like to be the pizza delivery boy? And he was like, sure. So that was great. But no, he doesn't really have any interest. He's taken some acting classes, and he really loved that when he was, a little younger. But no, he doesn't have any interest in it. And what I tell him is the same thing I tell myself, and my husband tells him the same thing, which is find something you love to do and just do it, because you want to make sure that you're not doing things for the wrong reason. Find what you love, be passionate about it, and do it. And especially when you're young, that's the chance. That's really such a wonderful time to find it. So watching him find his passion so young, and who knows, it could change. He's 16, but he really is into what he's into, right? And he's always been that kind of kid. When he was into cars, he was into cars, and he went through each phase, and he was totally obsessed. And maybe he gets a little of that from his parents. I don't know, but whatever he does, he seems to get really.
I totally understand.
So thanks for asking about him. He's a sweetie pie.
Oh my God!
And now he's
you'll
towers over me. He's
really?
Like 6'2". I can't believe I'm looking up at him. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Happens fast.
Listen to that. Well, and there you go. And I'm sure my daughter's not listening, but if you are, Samantha, did you just hear that? Because we just had this very long conversation, because she's 23 and she's like frustrated because she hasn't figured it out yet. She thought she was going to be one thing. She went to school for 3 years, and now she's like taking a break and like, Mom, I don't know where I'm going. And I'm like, it's okay to not know where you're going. Now, if you're 35 and you didn't know where you're going, I'd be a little more worried. But I'm like, see, there you go, Samantha. If you're listening to your mother on live radio, it's okay to be perfectly not okay right now, just for a little while. I'm 49 and I'm still not okay. But they all know that. All of you know that, right? I'm pretty screwed up right now. And that's okay. I'm down with that. So I have to ask you the secret of success in terms of, marriage. Obviously, I talk a lot. I'm very candid with my listeners. We all know that I'm single. There is someone that I like and that I'm not talking about, but obviously I've been trying to find the recipe for success as it relates to love. I really do think some of us who are single really want to believe that it's out there. We want to believe that it's possible to find that real thing. So tell us how you, what's the recipe for making it work, especially because, like you said, you're in the creative arts. Obviously, he's in a different area and strong and successful over the course of time.
Oh, wow. That's a whole blog talk all by itself, right? That's
a whole show.
I can only speak for me. And I think the most important thing for me is that what we already touched on, which is the respect and support for each other's passions. Really respect and support for it, even if you don't get it yourself. And that there's a freedom in that, and we're all different. I'm not a possessive person, and I don't like the feeling of someone wanting to be possessive with me. And so for me, with my marriage, this works out beautifully because neither one of us can tolerate that. So we're very happy to do our own things. And then when we come together, it's wonderful. It's very special. We co-parent well in that way too. And all the years that I still work a corporate job, and I travel for work. I used to travel way more than I do now, which is one of the reasons I'm able to do so much art, is because I don't travel as much as I used to. But, when I was on the road, he was home. When he was on the road, I was home. So we're a good team. And I think, but I want to answer your question, because I think what you're asking me has less to do with the long run and more to do with the mindset shift. I didn't meet my husband until I was I'm not going to say I was an older bride. And I had a mindset of, like a lot of women who are working and building their own careers in their lives, that, where are the good men? Where are the good men out there? They're either, especially when you get to a certain age, they're either already married, or, they're not interested in getting married, or maybe you're not even interested in getting married, but you just want to have a nice companion. But where are these guys? And someone said something to me that shifted everything for me, and it was wonderful. And I'm trying to think of her name so I can give her credit for this. I'll think of it. But she said, you don't need all the men. You just need one. And I went, oh.
Good answer.
You're right. And I started to think about things a little bit differently. And very shortly thereafter, I met my husband, and here we are. So that was 17. We got married. We got married 17 years ago this month. Yeah.
Wow.
And
what did you do for your anniversary?
Actually, well, you're going to laugh. He was at a backgammon tournament, and I was at a film festival.
Oh, my God, you poor thing. Did you get to do something special, though? You know, like sneak away and like, oh, we're still going to celebrate? Okay.
We did. We've had several celebrations because we both felt so badly about not being together on our anniversary. And he kept saying, no, it's fine. And I kept saying, no, it's fine. So I took him out to dinner one night. He took me to a show another night. And we still, I think, have something else planned. So we've been celebrating all month. We're good.
Oh, how sweet is that? That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And congratulations, by the way, even though your husband, who I didn't get to meet because I thought he lived in a basement. Actually, I didn't think he existed, folks, because she doesn't bring him out anywhere. I was like, I've never seen him. Like, the guy's probably chained in a basement somewhere. He forbids
me for posting him all over any kind of social media.
Really?
He's very private.
Oh.
He's super, super private. So, yeah, and he doesn't even go on Facebook. Somebody said something about my social media, and they said something about what, and I said, are you kidding? He doesn't even see it. He doesn't even go on
Oh, my gosh, look at
social
that.
media.
Okay,
so,
well, there you go.
Yeah, and they say, you know, you have to, it's the yin and the yang, the balance, right?
Yeah. No, I agree with you 150%. So hello, strange husband, whoever you are, hiding in somewhere, some backgammon room or whatever. Hi, nice to meet you. Since we're on the personal side of things, there's a couple more questions I have relative to that. First of all, you live in a place called, can I say this right, Croton-on-Hudson. That's what it was listed. Originally from Stone Ridge, I know, which are in New York. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so we all know Manhattan, Soho, et cetera. And I'm like, what? I can't even say it, let alone figure out where it is. So give us an idea, a range in terms of, I'm guessing that's somewhere, are you closer to upstate New York, or where are you exactly? And why there?
Croton-on-Hudson is exactly 55 minutes outside of New York City. It's a straight run from Croton to Grand Central Station on the Metro North Hudson line. And it's a gorgeous, gorgeous river town. We moved here because we had friends who were living here, and at the time we were in Boston, and our families were in Queens and upstate New York, and we just had this beautiful little baby boy, and we had no babysitters. And we were like, oh, my God, we cannot live this far away from our families with this when we're building our own family. We just felt really isolated. And so we started to look for something in between. And just by good fortune, we came to see a concert. At the time, it was Pete Seeger was still alive, and he did monthly concerts up in this area with other folk singers. And we loved folk music, and our friends did too. We went to see this concert, and we spent the night, and the next day we fell in love with the town of Croton-on-Hudson. And really, I mean, I could almost say we never left. We started looking immediately for a home here and eventually found one a little north of Croton, where we lived for a while in Montrose, and then maybe 6-7 years later we moved into Croton. Yep. And love it because I can get into the city. I can get into the city in an hour. It's so convenient to the city. But then when you get when you get up here, if you can Google the Croton Dam, it's the largest hand-hewn dam in the world, and that is where the drone shots of in the spilling were shot. And that's like a mile from my house. It's so beautiful.
Oh my God!
And then in an hour
you guys
you're in the city. So yeah, it's a beautiful place to live.
Oh, I imagine so. And like I said, we saw it in the film, so, and we'll get into talking about the spilling, of course, but it really is beautiful panoramic shots. It's absolutely lovely. And plus, you're not too far away from the city, because as we all know by people that follow me, I'm always in the city all the time, literally running in my tennis shoes, and they see how it's crazy. Life in the city is very, very, very crazy. I can say that, but I'm absolutely in love with it, so I can't wait to be there in 5 years. I'm like, 5 years I'll be a permanent resident, so I'm very, very excited about that. I'm nervous, though. I mean, I'm a Wisconsinite, so remember, I come from a Midwestern background. When we go to, like, where you guys are, they'll eat you for breakfast. Like, taxi cab people will run you over. People don't stare at me. I mean, they don't even look at me, and it's still intimidating. I'm like, ouch. So, yeah, I'm still getting used to it. It's a little bit different, but we'll see how it goes. Now, there's two things, because I do my job well, at least I'm told I do. There's two things that I wanted to talk about that I know you mentioned recently that are important to you, so I think it's important to mention. So I'd like you to talk about if it's okay with you, I thought we should mention your sister. because very recently you had posted up something about your sister Mary Beth, which was the 23rd, and I'm going to guess that she had a very poignant and powerful effect on you. So that speaks to who you are. So I'd like you to speak about her if you're comfortable with that.
Oh my gosh, yes, thank you for that. Mary Beth is my sister. I'm the oldest of 5, and she was 8 years younger than me, and she was a gorgeous little baby girl, and kind of like, my generation of girls, I was just looking at pictures at my other sister's house last night, and every picture I'm in, I have like 2 or 3 baby dolls in my arms. And so my sisters, who were 8 and 10 years younger than I, were my real life baby dolls. So poor things. But I was just so thrilled to have these 2 little sisters. And as they grew up, we got closer and closer because that age gap closes as you get older. Sure. Now I'm very close to my youngest sister. Who's, right? It does. It changes. Like 8 years seems so long. And it is. I look at the pictures and I'm like towering over the 2 of them. But now, the gap closes and closes. And she played the flute. She was smart and funny and just the dearest person, and we were quite close. And when she was 19, she was diagnosed with a very aggressive form of leukemia and underwent rigorous chemotherapy, and that was so many years ago. There really wasn't a whole lot that they could do. And, at the time, bone marrow transplants are very useful and effective today. And in that time, they could only do sibling matches, and nobody matched her. So it was a really traumatic time in our lives as a family and as a human being, and to have someone you love go through such a grueling illness is tough. And she fought hard, and when she was 21, she passed away. And I like to say she left her body. She went on to whatever is next. And yes, it had a huge effect on me. It's been a long time since she passed, and she's with me every single day. And so it's interesting that you bring up the Facebook post, because each year on the anniversary of her death, or sometimes on her birthday, which is March 1st, I want to share her with the world. I want people to see her beauty and her grace and her humor. And when I post it, and I haven't figured this out yet, and maybe I just need to say that when I post these photos, I do it as a celebration of her. Yes, of course, there's a deep sadness. Of course, it's traumatic. And people go, they see her beautiful face and they go, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. And I appreciate that. And it's a wonderful outpouring that has come back to me. But I don't want people to look at her and feel sad. I want them to look at her and say, my goodness, a beautiful human was on this earth, and know that she was here. So I think that's the reason why I sort of hover over the post button each year, but I do it anyway because I want people to know how important she was and that she mattered and that I love her. So, yeah, thanks for asking.
It's interesting. I was just saying to someone the other day, and you'll find this out at the end of our interview. I say this all the time whenever I do a show. There's always reasons why all of you come to me at some point. There's always, I don't know if you're a believer in this, but I've truly come to embrace since I was 40 people for a reason. So people come on my show for a reason, and now I know why you've come on my show. But you'll find that out at the end. It's interesting. There's always a reason why you guys come, and it's very magical, so I love my show. The other thing that I want to talk about, which is very super important, and I admire the fact that you posted quite a bit about this. I saw more than one posting about sexual assault. And I want to talk about this a little bit more so because I feel like I'm kind of alone in my quest as far as this goes. I'm always on social media encouraging people to be as big-mouthed as I am. I'm always very raw and real and open about things. And I think that this is something that's become a little more taboo, and I'm the first one to admit. I mean, people already know. I've been through this gamut. I have survived sexual assault. Sadly, most of my girlfriends have as well, and even guy friends that I know. And so let's talk a bit about that in terms of I saw your post, and that brings the obvious, which is, of course, we're getting to November 6th. So I just want to get your post with your thoughts, I should say, without getting too political, since I just saw Robert De Niro last week. Why is it so important for us to bring light on subjects that some people are about? And more importantly, why is it important for you personally to tell everybody why they should get out and vote this year?
Yeah, vote. That's my That's my mantra, vote. In fact, I'm going to do some canvassing. I've been doing phone banking. Get out the vote. We have to vote. It's critical. Sure. And the reason I think that it's important to, again, it's one of those things when you put something out publicly, at least for me, there's always a certain hesitation because you're opening yourself up to all kinds of responses, the positive, the negative, the ambivalent, the, oh my God, I don't want to hear this anymore. And I think the reason it's important to speak and stand in our power as fully realized human beings who are women who've been marginalized for so long is because the is what allows it to keep going. That's the it's not the thing itself, it's the quiet. It's to me, it's the secrecy around it that's more violent. It's more damaging. Is the shaming of not being able to say this is what happened to me.
Right. That's
worse than the thing that happened. And I think when you heard Dr. Ford testify, we heard her say that the worst thing about it was the laughter. And I think that's the shaming. And if we can remove the shaming, then we can have a dialogue. And then we can start to shift things. And then things start to change. And we, whenever there's a movement, there's always a backlash. So I remember reading Susan Faludi's book, Backlash, many, many years ago, and that was a really powerful backlash to the women's movement in the 80s, I guess. I think there's going to be a Me Too backlash already. People are like, oh, enough with the Me Too, and of course there is. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. We just have to stand firm in what we know to be true and not engage, not fight in the name-calling arena, not get in. I know that there are a lot of different takes on this, but I do think that when people go low, we do need to go high, because getting in the pit doesn't help anybody. It just it makes us as bad as the person who's started it, right? So I guess that's a long answer to a short question, but vote on November 6th. If you need a ride and you're in New York, I'll take you.
Exactly. In fact, I'm working on literally, and I know I'm crazy, and we all know I'm a little nutty, but this morning I went ahead and I approached powerful women in Hollywood, and I said, you know what, let's do a show on November 5th. Let's take my show, because I have a nice-sized audience. Let's get a bunch of more influential people than me on there as well, and get talking about this and talk about the reasons and get some support for that. So hopefully it will work, but it all starts with everybody talking about it, getting excited about it, and getting out there and getting with it. So please do so. So the last thing I want to talk about on a personal side of things before we get into your montage of work here, which is so impressive. She literally crawls me under the carpet, folks. She's amazing. There's this favorite quote that you have, which goes, wherever you go, there you are, which I found it interesting that you actually posted that and said, this is my favorite quote. So why that one? I'm just curious.
Oh, I love that quote, because it reminds me that it's not the external things I need to change, that if I have an issue, it's something in me that needs to shift. So often, I think we as humans, and I certainly do this and have done it, blame our circumstances, or if only, or why didn't, or it's my bad luck, or whatever, for how we're feeling, when, in fact, the only person who can affect how you feel is you. So I like that, because it reminds me, it's not out there, it's in me. And wherever I am, so in other words, if only I could move to somewhere else, or if only I had a different job, or if only I did this other thing. But don't forget, wherever you go, there you are. So if something internal doesn't shift, you're going to be in the same situation, even if you change all of the exterior stuff. And that's a powerful reminder for me, because I think over my lifetime, I've often thought, like many of us, if only I had this, or if only I got that, or if only I lived here, if only I lived there, and then the realization that isn't what's going to help. It's the interior journey that matters. The exterior is pretty much meaningless. Wherever you go, there you are. You take it all with you.
And there you go. I'm going to start using that one. My signature one. Yeah, go ahead.
It's yours. No. The good, the bad, and the ugly. It all goes. So.
Yeah. My signature one for a long time, at least, well, once I turned 40, I didn't realize just how powerful the saying was. So I always tell people, and I have an actual wooden sign in my house, and it says presence before presence, which is presence. I've always come to learn to value that, having someone in some presence, whether they're in front of me on the phone, texting me, etc., so much more than anything you could ever buy me. And you don't really realize how crucial that is until we start to age. You know, I'm starting to see some of my friends pass on and go through some very, very tough things. So presence before presence is my big thing, and I hold very true to that. I stay very present with people all the time. That's what my If You're Reading This Now posts are all about. I think these people are starting to figure it out. I do that 3-4 times a day. It's just my way of being able to say I'm here. I mean, I might be busy, but I'm here. No matter what, I'm always here, as a matter of fact. And before I forget to mention it, another good friend of mine very recently just reached out to me, and this is just a quick PSA, folks. I didn't know, and she's a good friend of mine, I didn't know that she was contemplating suicide a week or so ago. I was devastated to hear that. So again, I reminded you folks last week, so let me just throw that out there one more time. We'll get right back to Laura, which is this. If you're listening to me right now, and if you're thinking, if you're scared, if you're afraid, if you feel alone, if you feel scared, if you feel uncertain, if you feel like you're going to lose it, text message, call me, message me, show up at my house, stay at my house, do something, say something. Let somebody know, please. I just had to get that out there. It's so frustrating.
No, that's great. That's beautiful.
But it's true. And I tell people this all the time. I think they think they're kidding, you know, because they'll approach me and they'll be like, you're too busy. I'm never too busy. I know it looks like I'm too busy, but I have to keep saying it. I am never too busy for someone to come here who's in trouble. It's that simple. I've been here, done that. I don't want to see somebody do that. So there you go. So I have to ask this question about you. I know, of course, that you had put acting on the side for a number of years because, as you mentioned, obviously, of course, you worked within the travel services business. First of all, I want to ask you, because I fly all the time, thanks for not hooking a girl up. Hello! I've been trying to figure out. Okay, so I'm trying to figure this out. I travel now to New York basically every month, and obviously I have to keep doing this till my kids are grown. So I'm trying to figure out, do you have any tips for me in terms of, or people in general who are listening, if you're frequently flying, is there a smart way to go about things? You know what I'm saying? Because obviously I don't want to go broke, and now they're charging for bags and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, help us out a little bit. Is there a smart way to look at booking travel so that we're not sizably cutting into our income?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things you can do. And I will say that my professional life as a corporate person is on the corporate side. So the kinds of tips and tricks that I know are more relevant to companies that are buying lots of travel for their employees to fly. And the company that I work for has a tremendous amount of resource on how to make life better when you're on the road. And there's studies that our Travel Management Institute has done that will tell you how to be more comfortable on the road, how to be more productive, and all of those things. For personal travel, well, it sounds like yours is a mix of personal and business because you're really traveling for business too. There, I always look for ways to be most effective as well. And I think one way is to find a carrier that you like and, rack up some miles, find a credit card that you, can use that'll give you miles. I'm sure. Do you do that already, Cindy?
I do sometimes. Like, I won't lie to you. I go to Chicago because I'm in Milwaukee. So obviously Wisconsin is less expensive. So I go to Chicago. Yeah. Like last time I did like a Spirit Airlines thing, it was like $50. But here's the problem. You get what you pay for. I mean, of course I'm trying to cut it down. Yep. Like I'll do $100-some, but then you got to add bags in. See, it's kind of a catch-22. Now, back in the day you used to be able to do your bag thing. And, I did Southwest last time, but then you're paying like $150. So I'm just trying to make it easier on myself because I'm like, you don't want to go broke paying for parking, then you're going to pay for this. You know what it's like to be in Manhattan and pay for stuff. So that's why I'm just trying to cut it as much as I can. Because, I get all these airline miles, and, now I got, 17 magazines in my house. Oh, joy. I don't need another magazine. I don't even have time to read right now. That's all I get for my perks. So I'm just trying to figure out, there's got to be somewhere where I can spend less and be able to travel as much. Because now I'm incorporating L.A. and New York. You follow?
Well, good for you. That's terrific. And so you can, I don't know if it's changed, but there's certain days of the week that are better to book travel?
There are. Yeah, there are.
For lower fares?
Like Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. See, you know more than I do.
Well, I try to stay on top of these things because now that I have to go all the time, it's like, oh my gosh, every time I book another flight, and I'm like I said, I wouldn't mind Spirit so much, but it's a real pain to try to fit like these really pretty dresses, like you're doing a red carpet, and you're squeezing it into a backpack, and it's like, oh my God, this is nuts. So like literally, folks, here's what I've learned, and I'll pass this on to you, Laura, in case you decide you want to travel somewhere. Put the stuff in a box and ship it. I kid you not. Throw it in a one-size-fits-all flat box, and you ship it to New York, or you ship it to wherever you're going, and then you end up instead of paying for baggage, it's like, $7, sometimes $12, whatever, much cheaper. See, I'm starting to learn a little bit, but I thought, you know what, it doesn't hurt to ask you. I thought, well, it's one of those things. So you're still currently involved in doing travel, correct? I assume so. Is that your day job, and then you're doing the acting on side? Okay.
It's very much my career. Yes, it's a career that I've built over a long number of years. So, yeah, and I love it. And so, yes, as my son got older, and I started to travel a little bit less for work, I started to have more time for a creative life. So, yeah, I do both.
Oh, look at that. How cool is that? And get this, folks. Now, on the education side of things, I see that you've gone to 3 different, obviously the State University, and then, of course, the community college. She's been to Harvard University. I'm telling you, I say this all the time. People that come on my show are smarter than me. And they look better than me, by the way. I mean, literally, I get some of the best people. I'm at, wow, Harvard. Hello? I don't even feel like I'm smart enough to interview you. Like, seriously.
You're so funny.
Harvard.
You're so funny.
But it's true.
I lived in Cambridge for a couple of years. I was working for a company in Cambridge, and I will tell you, there's a lovely way to go to Harvard, and it's with Harvard professors. Yep. And if you are a resident of Cambridge, you can apply for it's a very reasonable per course cost. So I thought, well, what the heck? I'm here. I might as well take some classes. Yeah. So I don't have a degree. I don't have a degree from Harvard, but I took writing classes.
We know.
I took writing classes there, and they were wonderful. And the trick is to look for. Well, I mean, they're wonderful professors anyway in this program.
Sure.
And so long, I can't even remember what it's called. But it's for residents of the area, and it's like a legacy program, and it's really reasonably priced. And you can tell which professors are the Harvard professors. They all teach some courses in this program. And then professors from other colleges, which there are so many in Boston, come and teach other of them. And so if you can get a degree, at least when I was doing this, you could get a Harvard degree through this program as long as you selected courses that were all taught by Harvard professors. So I went through the catalog and looked at what I thought I might like to take. And I made sure that they were Harvard professors, and I took them. And then I had a great time. It was wonderful. It was a great experience.
That's awesome.
And I got to use the library, so to sit in the stacks at Harvard was like a real treat. It was thrilling. I really enjoyed it. But I was working.
She's pretty
and
smart. Mm-hmm. There you go. Pretty, smart. She's wiping the carpet with me, man. I'm telling you. Okay. We want to talk a bit about this because I think this is so cool, going along with my banter for the day. So get this. Here I am looking at Laura's resume, and she highlighted these, and these are really important skills, folks. And sit down, wait for it. Here we go. Not only is she a kayaker, but she also lists stick shift on her resume. That just cracked me up. I'm like, oh, my God. Kayaker and stick shift. I'm so making you talk about this. That's so cool. Who puts that on a resume? That's so funky. Seriously? Stick shift? How do you do that? I can't even do that sober, let alone drunk. I always said that. I'm like, how do you manage to learn stick shift? That's a real pain in the butt. Seriously.
That was my first car. It was my first car.
Really?
I had no choice.
Oh, my gosh.
I actually prefer a stick. I know a lot of people think that's crazy, but anybody who has driven a stick, and certainly if it was the first kind of driving you did, you have way more control over the car when you drive a stick. But I put it on my resume. I don't know why I put it on my resume. I put it on my acting resume because it's a special skill. Not everybody can do it. But I drive a stick.
That's so cool. That is awesome. I had to highlight that. I'm like, that's absolutely nuts.
So, I can drive a truck, too.
I know.
I can drive it.
Seriously? Yep. Is there anything you can do? I'm just wondering. Because, like, the list just keeps going on and on and on. I'm like, oh, my gosh.
You're so sweet.
Now, I saw that. You obviously so you clearly put acting on the side for years, like we had mentioned earlier. So I have had other actors that have gone on that have talked about this. And oftentimes I hear creatives tell me they get discouraged and think, oh, I can't ever make anything of myself because I waited so long. That's the number one thing that they get so concerned about is waiting. So I want you to address that because you, of all people, know what it's like to get success after you've kind of had a choice to make where you're like, you know what, I can't get into this right now. So talk to the folks that are listening in about the advantages for waiting for a while and then getting into it, and tell about your experience and how that's turned out for you, because I think it's inspiring.
Thank you so much. It has been a great journey for me. I was a stage actor, and I worked, and I had a great time, and I loved New York, and I didn't want to leave New York. And when I was in theater at the time, there wasn't really much in film in New York the way there is now. And I was right around the time Mary Beth passed away, and I thought I was doing what I see a lot of actors do, which is very easy to do, which is I was in between jobs, and I found myself being a waitress and not an actor. And I was tired of waitressing, and I was tired of not knowing, of the uncertainty. And I thought, let me try something else for a while. And I really discerned. I didn't just say, oh, I'm out of here, I can't do this anymore. I said, I was very strategic. I wrote down all the things. I really did this. I probably have the old journal somewhere. I wrote down all the things I loved about my acting life. And then I said, what other kind of work will give me at least 80% of the things? It might not give me everything, but at least 80% of the things that this work gives me. Because to me, I was a working actor, and it was work. It wasn't like I had these illusions of being a great big star or anything like that. I wanted to be a working actor. That's what I wanted to do for a living, and I did it. And I did it through my 20s. And then I thought, okay, this isn't working for me right now. What else can I do that has the same kind of skills that will allow me to have the same kind of gratification? And the thing I sort of stumbled into was travel. And at the time, it was leisure travel. And as I grew through my career in leisure travel, I found myself very happily traveling all over the world, presenting to large groups of people, interacting with all kinds of people from all different walks of life, and it was extremely gratifying for me. So I don't really have any regrets about doing that. It was very satisfying. And then I found myself in a different place in my life where I felt the pull to be more creative in a concrete way. So I always have brought my creativity to everything that I do. And I read a great book called What Color is Your Parachute? It's an old gem. And the one thing that stuck with me from that book was bloom where you're planted. And so you can find happiness wherever you are. It's just using things that are unique to you in whatever situation you find yourself in. And so that's what I did for a really long time. And then I found I needed something more. I needed to have a more concrete expression of my creativity than a corporate life was allowing me to do. Not that I don't love what I do in my corporate life, I do, and I certainly love all of the benefits that it provides to me. But there was something missing that is so tangible about making a film or putting on a production or creating a part or being cast in a part and bringing that part to life that was missing for me. And when I recognized that, I just started to dip my toe back in, and there were people who really helped me to do that. Beverly Bonner at the Broadway Comedy Club, who has this wonderful, or did have this wonderful little show that she cast me in, and that was my first sort of foray back into stage work. And then Jennifer Giles, who invited me on her set when she did Mother of the Week, and Jillian Gall, who I'd known for many, many, many years, didn't even know I had ever acted, started to coach me. And so I had it was so magical. It was like the doors just opened and kept opening and kept opening and kept opening. So it just felt like I should just step through. So I will say it's never too late. And I will also say I am a better actor because of all the life experience that I've had. There is nothing better than actually living life to its fullest to allow you to embody life. And that's really what you're doing as an actor, is you're embodying life. It's not, more or less than that. You're doing it on a stage or a screen. And I think the more life experience you have, the more ability you have to do that. So I think I encourage people to take breaks, and I encourage people to take vacations. And I know actors who are like, oh, I never go on vacation because the minute I go on vacation, I'm going to be cast in something. And I think that's a place of scarcity, a place of lack. And I get that as an actor, you have to be available. And I always book out with my reps, and I am very considerate of that. And I don't want to miss out, right? Of course. But I book out in advance, and I don't know what I'm missing because I booked out, so it doesn't matter, you know. And I take my vacations, and I live my life, and I don't want it any other way. And so, who knows? See what happens next.
See? It's possible, folks. Listen to that. And I admire so much because I know so many actors in New York that I've spoken to recently really took a hiatus or ended up not starting until such and such time. And I admire that so much because there should never be an age limit, folks. There's no age limit on expiration date for your dreams. It's that simple. So the reality is you could be doing this when you're 70 if you really want to. And, yes, I believe that. And if you don't believe me, just follow me on social media. I'll tell you every day. Trust me, I'll tell you every day that it's possible. Now you've done.
And you know what?
I
just want to say, Cindy, the thing is, it's not that there's no expiration on your dreams, which is true. There's no expiration limit on your creativity, and for me, that's the key, right? Because I don't care. It's like what I tell my son: do what you love, and the rest will come.
Right.
I don't know what the rest is, but I do know that I always want to be creating. That's the important thing. You know, and there's definitely no expiration date on that. You can create to your last breath.
Oh, and by the way, kudos. Just when I thought there wasn't more about love with her, here come the awards process. Number one, you were named a global leadership professional, which is awesome from the Wharton School of Business. So that's number one, kudos on the business side of things. And we'll get to her awards in just a second. I want to talk a bit about this. You were obviously, of course, you mentioned the Broadway Comedy Club. I know that you've done theater before. And for instance, the two ones that stood out to me were Kennedy's Children and Looking for Cans, which I thought were so very different and out of the norm. So tell folks a bit, because obviously doing theater is different from doing television and film, and I always get different introspectives from actors when they come on to talk about theater. It would appear as though some of you embrace it and coddle it and say, that's where my creative niche is, and always run back to it at some point. Are you like that, or was it just kind of a foundation where it's like, yeah, that was nice, but I wouldn't return?
Oh, I love theater. That's my first home. That's my first home since I was really young. I love theater. I would love to go back to theater. I still work a corporate job. I have to be, in my seat for a lot of hours a week. So for me, the rehearsal time and the commitment of theater is just too much for me right now. Someday I would love to be back on stage. It's my first love. I think the beauty of film and television is, especially at the place I'm at, is that it coexists with all the other things that I'm doing. And what I love about film and television is that it has this long shelf life. So you do it once, and then it has almost a second life. You create it, and then you have to kind of let it out. It goes out to the world, and it kind of does what it does. To me, that's also a whole other experience. But what I love about theater is the immediacy of it. And what you were talking about, your favorite saying or your expression that grounds you is theater is so right now. Unless it's really awful, which that happens too. But really good theater is like super present. And I just saw the most wonderful I saw Come From Away. It's one of the most wonderful shows I've seen in a long time, and Tony LaPage was in that night. And I know Tony through the Actors Green Room, which has been another tremendous support of my growth as an artist, returning to this business. I remember the first time I met Jen Rudolph, she looked at my materials, and she was like, well, you're a little green. It's like, I know. What do I do to get ungreen? And she told me a lot of great things to do, and I did them, and I still love the Actors Green Room, and the Actors Green Room Film Challenge has made a filmmaker out of me. So I met Tony there, and then now, and some years later, I'm at this wonderful performance with my son and my husband. This wasn't very long ago, and I get into the theater and I see Tony's name in the program and that he's performing that night. And I was just so uplifted and so moved. Everybody needs to go see this show. It's just wonderful. Come From Away. And we bought the soundtrack and we sing it all the time. That to me is like the ultimate in creativity because it's presence. It's being in the moment. So yes, I love film and television. I adore it, and it's what I can do right now, and I hope to do a lot of it. but I really would love to get back on stage. That's my first love. Yeah.
Huh. Nice, very nice.
Yep.
I kind of expected that, so that's awesome. And now on the TV side of things, she's on Animal Planet Television, the production called Monsters Inside Me, which I thought was neat. Animal Planet TV is something I don't think that gets embraced enough, to be honest with you. And so I thought it was kind of interesting
It's
that
fun.
you've done that. Can people still watch that, and can you tell me a bit about that project? Because sadly, I have not checked that out, and it sounds like I'd watch it.
No, that's okay. It's really the show that I was on was really fun to do, and it's been a while, so I'm not remembering all the people I should probably thank for getting on that. But
okay,
it and I think it does still cycle through. But it was I think Animal Planet they put on their shows and they run them for a while. So people were seeing me all hours of the day and night, depending on when they were watching TV. They were like, I just saw you on television. So I don't know, but you can find the schedule. If you look up my episode, you can find the schedule on Animal Planet, like on your cable box of scheduling. But I'm not sure when it will be on again. But that was really fun to do.
Oh, I imagine. And can you tell us the role that you played? Because I love this role for you, and I think that this would make it very intriguing for people to watch, because I'm always saying on my show, oh, you should go watch this. And they're like, well, what's it about? So tell us about the role you played in that.
Oh,
Monsters Inside Me.
I can't.
You're an actor. You should know this.
Oh, my gosh. You're terrible. You got me.
Well,
you stumped me. I'm like, what's she going to ask me next? Next question.
Oops. We'll just get back to that one, and I'll post it on social media, folks, so you can read about the role she doesn't quite remember. Moving along to ones that I know she remembers, because I watched one of them last night. When you feel like crap, here's what you do. You take the people that submitted to your film festival and you say, oh, I should probably screen those films tonight. And that's what I did last night while I was crying. Yes, that's right. The host does cry sometimes. I was lying in my bed crying and watching great films. Yes, that's right. You should support independent film because it makes you feel better. So I watched Scratch This last night, and we'll get to that in just a moment because I have questions. But a couple different things we want to talk about. First of all, let's discuss the Spilling and Great Expectations. 2 reasons, folks. First of all, 3. First of all, it's great filmmaking, and great filmmaking by females. Number 2, one of them is going off to DirecTV. Exciting. Number 3, she got 2 times winning the Best Actress Awards for each one of those films. See what I mean? She crawls me under the carpet. I can't even get Best Host. I can't even get Best Mom sometimes. And here she is racking up the awards. Wow. Okay, so let's talk about
Thank you.
the Spilling. Oh, of course. Obviously, I was very, very blessed in that she allowed me to show one of her films at my festival this year. So I want to talk about both of these films, but first let's talk about Great Expectations. For me, when I watch this is what I imagine Laura would be like 24/7 if you shadowed her. Am I wrong? Because I'm like, I could totally see you being this character all the time, 24. Just asking.
Well, there's a lot of her in me, and me and her, of course, because I helped create the show. So yes, I would say that's probably true. It's very Taurian.
Okay.
I'm a Taurus, right? So it's very Taurian.
Yes.
You know, I don't go right away, but it just builds and builds and builds.
And not only that, what I love about her role, and yes, I can do this because this is internet-based radio, Laura must like to say fuck a lot, because every role I've watched her in so far, she's always saying fuck at least once. I'm like, does she say this to her kid and husband at home? I can just envision you watching through the house like, fuck, fuck, fuck. Okay, there's my fuck for the day. So is that really Laura, or is that just they make you do this for a role?
No, actually, I noticed that too. It was coincidental, but yeah, it does seem to come up in everything I create. So I think there's also a really I don't swear a lot. I do sometimes, but I'm not someone who you would say is always cursing. But yeah, every once in a while. But I think to me the value of a curse is if you don't use it very often. And the reason why I think it's effective for me is because I don't look like someone who's going to drop the F-bomb. And so that's what makes it makes it funny. Or it makes it dramatic. In the Spilling, it's dramatic because you don't expect it. And so I think that's what I like about doing it, is that it's not expected. But yeah, sometimes
very
true. I'll slip out and I'll be like, oh, I can't believe I just said that.
And it cracks me up so much because I'm like, you just know it's coming. And folks, it's probably because I've screened a bunch of her films, but like, you totally know it's coming. Like, I wait for it. I'm like, when is she going to say? When is she going to say? And she says it with such fervor. You know what I mean? It's not like your traditional sort of, oh, she just did the F-bomb. She's like, oh, she really makes you believe like she's so comfortable, like this comes out of her mouth every 5 seconds. So Great Expectations, obviously, you are portraying, obviously, a person who's under this huge deadline, and she's got just a barrage of these people that you don't even know where they're coming from. And it's just one quirky person after another that comes in. It's such an engaging film. It really is on many different levels because the role she plays in that is very different. She's got a dramatic role on the spilling side of things, and then you go to Great Expectations, and this is very funny, stressed out. This woman is just losing it. And I love that I saw Jillian in there because I've only had a few encounters with her, and she is lovely too, by the way. If you folks have not followed Jillian Gall's work, you should do so as well. I like to name drop on my show a lot, by the way. Jessica Green is coming on our show. Oh, what do we even want to say about Jessica? I don't even know where to start. I'm interviewing her. You think I'm afraid of you?
I love Jessica.
Oh.
I love all of these people. Look, how lucky was I? You look at the cast of Great Expectations, and that was pure luck for the most part. Right. So it was a 72-hour film challenge, and so the cast was assigned, except for Jillian and me, because we were the team leaders. And Jillian introduced me to Dorothy Marsick, who wrote it, who brought in Don Downey, who directed it. Paul Louis Anderson was our director of photography. I had met him the prior month and loved his work and waited a month to shoot this so that he would be available to shoot it. And then Jessica Green and Sean Brogan edited it, and Jessica Green, and just Aisha Adamo is in it. I hope I'm saying everybody's name right. Jillian Gall and Jessica Shea, who I adore and who I'm working with in Scratch This. And we had Dana Marissa Schoenfeld is in it, and Nick Sakai is in it. I just got so lucky, and I think that's a key to a lot of things is surround yourself with good people and you'll be fine. You know, you don't have to do it all yourself. You just have to have really good people around you. And I got so lucky with that. Oh, and Matthew Wilson is in it. And they all did these incredibly wonderful character pieces. And so they just lifted me up. I mean, just so much fun to do.
Oh, God, yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. So I'm excited that one is going to great, obviously, to DirecTV. Clearly, the Spilling has had some great success. On the other side of the fence, as I mentioned, the Spilling, she plays a very differently dramatic role, obviously, and I really felt for her. I mean, in the beginning, I had to watch it a few times to really get what my interpretation of the movie was, and I won't give it away for you folks because you guys will get a chance to see it eventually. I know you will, in fact. Just wait for the end of our interview, you'll hear. So kudos, and I cannot say how happy I am for you in winning all these different awards, and more so just creating really great film. That's the big thing.
Thank you.
So scratch this. So get this. So Jessica Green, who we've been prefacing, she is on screen, of course, as one of her castmates in that movie. And Scratch This is not an abundantly long movie per se, but, again, with the comedy factor, which I like, again, with the F-bomb, shocker, in the first 5 seconds, all I will say about this film is I've never seen Laura in that pose before. Literally, the first camera shot, and I'm like, oh, my God. I was like, what the hell are they doing with her? And now it makes sense in watching it, obviously. So give the folks just a small, minute little scout and tell them how the film has been doing on the circuit so far, because that's kind of exciting, too.
Yes, thank you. Scratch This is the story of three sisters whose inability to contain their sibling rivalry results in ongoing riotous physical comedy. And again, I love the unexpected. And I think when you look at Jessica Shea and Jessica Green and myself, you don't expect us to be slamming each other down on countertops and punching each other out and running and doing chase scenes. And so we had so much fun making this, and we hope to make many more. It's gotten such good reception. We actually tried out submitting it to web festivals, and we were accepted into a few now and have won awards in them. And we had the best time at the New Jersey Film Web Fest, which is Neem Basha's festival. And he is just one of the most supportive filmmaker, content creators we have ever met, and he encouraged us to continue to make them. And we are going to be launching a Seed and Spark campaign in the early part of the new year to raise the money to make more of these little episodes. So Scratch This will become a web series. We've got a 10-episode arc outlined, and we shot the Seed and Spark pitch about a week ago. So we're putting that together now, and we'll put it out into the world after the holidays and see if we can raise some cash and get the rest of the episodes made. So our director, Jody Lauren Miller, who's so talented, put it this way really well. It's like a little piece of candy. You know, Scratch This is like a little piece of candy. There's no like message. There's just fun, and we felt we were empowering ourselves because these are roles, and the whole series is one that none of the three of us as actors felt anybody would cast us or hire us to do. And since we have, we wanted to take control of our careers and our lives and our creative work,
of course.
And so we made it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yay.
And we don't want to forget to remind everybody, November 3rd at the Baltimore New Media Festival, Scratch This is going to be appearing, or I should say screening. So get your butts out to Baltimore November 3rd so you can check the screening out on that if you actually want to see what we're talking about. The other lead role that you have, of course, is in How to Make a Bomb in the Kitchen of Your Mom. So where can we find it? Can we find that? Can people see us? Because I know you were leading that one as well, so I don't want to forget to mention that.
Yeah, I'm part of an ensemble in that, actually. I'm not a lead, and I didn't. It's not one of my initial creations. I became part of the team by being cast. So Shakti Bakchandani cast me in that, and I'm just thrilled. It was at and which is really, as an actor, look, I love it all. I love all the creating, and I love creating my own work. It's wonderful. However, any actor listening to this will understand the thrill of actually auditioning for something and being cast. So I was cast in How to Make a Bomb in the Kitchen of Your Mom, and it's a lovely piece. It's a short film that Shakti wants to make a feature out of eventually, and I hope that she does. But it has already screened at BFI London, which I didn't go to. It was a little bit of a trek for me, and work and family considerations kept me here as opposed to on a plane to London. I would love to have gone. But I did go to the Hamptons Film Festival where it screened, and I will make sure on my social media and on my website to put that front and center when it screens again. I have a feeling it will have a nice run in festivals, and hopefully she'll make it into a feature and continue to cast me.
That sounds wonderful, of course. And the upcoming, we don't want to forget about this, you're executive producer on a project called Fluidity.
Yes.
I can't even talk. Please tell us about it, even though I know it's your executive producer thing, but we do want to know about that. So talk a bit about that.
Oh, yeah. I would love to. So Fluidity is the story of 10 millennials whose lives are intersecting through their technology and their sexuality, and they don't know it. And it addresses gender fluidity, sexual fluidity. It's really about a generation. It's kind of a defining film, in my opinion, for a generation. And Linda Yellen, who I met through Jillian, was the director of The Spilling, my short film, The Spilling, and we worked together on that, and she invited me to become part of her production team for Fluidity. And oh my gosh, that was an incredible experience. We shot for 18 days last summer in New York City. We have a wonderful cast of young, gorgeous talent, and we've just started to promote the film on social media and through the website, and I've been tweeting and posting and liking, and so if you follow me anywhere, you're going to see a lot about Fluidity in the coming months, and hopefully in theaters soon. Linda is a really super talented filmmaker, very creative, and so much fun to work with. So stay tuned on that. Fluidity, the film.
Listen to her.
And I think
she says if you follow her. Like, nobody follows her. Give me a break. Everybody follows her. After the show, you should be following her. Hello. Thank you very much. Now,
thank you very much.
Just so you know, can you believe it? I say this every day. We've been on air an hour and 15 minutes. I don't know how this happened. Every day I'm like, okay, well, let's do like a 45-minute, and then before you know it, it's an hour and 15 minutes. But you know what? I never feel bad about that. My cast will probably feel bad because I'm still not going to be ready for my cast meeting, but I really don't care because I really like this show, and I think we did some great things on here. But we're not quite finished. There's a few business things I have to do before I let Laura go, and before I literally have to do a photo shoot this afternoon. One of my cast is doing a photo shoot with me, and then I'm having like 15 of my cast here. Terribly nervous, but terribly excited. So let's do a few business things with Laura first before we let her go. First of all, so you know, after this episode airs, because it's live right now, I will send you an archived episode from Blog Talk Radio, and I also put it on my YouTube channel, and I'll send you the links to both. So anybody who wasn't home on a Sunday and didn't listen to us can come back and listen to us. I'm going to read off all the various ways to find you. And then after I do that, meaning on social media and otherwise, then we always have surprises on my show. I don't know if you know that or not, but I always surprise my guests. Were you aware of that? You probably weren't, unless you actually listen to my show. And then I get to tell you what I think of you. So it's just 3 things. So the lady we've been talking to today, Laura Dowling Shea, and just so you know, the spelling on that is Dowling, last name Shea, like butter, Shea. These are all the various ways to find her. Here we go. Her website, lauradowlingshea.com, and, of course, the movie, scratchthis.theseries.com. Those are the 2 websites. And here we go. We have Vimeo, we have YouTube, we have IMDb, 2 Instagrams, which is LADO and then SHEA, as well as Scratch This, the Series. On Facebook, she has a personal page, and also Scratch This, the Series, as well as Twitter at LADO and then SHEA, as well as Scratch This, the Series. Have I missed any place? Oh, also I said YouTube, right? And IMDb. Any other place where people can find? Oh, I'm sorry, LinkedIn as well. And I'm going to guess you're on Google Plus too?
I am.
Okay, that's what I thought. Any other place that we might have missed you?
You can find updates on Fluidity Film, all of those places too, as Fluidity Film.
Gotcha. Okay, I did not see that. At least, maybe I missed that in the email.
I probably didn't get it to you.
Fluidity. There you go. And November 3rd, we're all going to Baltimore. I can't because I have to be in Wisconsin, but Baltimore New Media Festival, Scratch This is screening. Do we know what time the screening is taking place for us?
I don't yet.
Oh.
So I'll put that out
Boy,
on
she's
social
helpful,
media as soon
isn't she,
as I
folks?
can. I know, right?
I don't know what role I played, and I don't know what time this is screening, but that's okay.
I'm never gonna
but you know
live
what?
that down.
Oh, trust me. Trust me, you will not live that down. Okay, so now it's time for surprises. I like this part of my show because people always get all excited every time I do it. Every time I do this, I get excited because people aren't expecting this. So we have 3 surprises for Laura, one of which isn't really a surprise. Obviously, she has requested that I do a review of her short film, Scratch This. So, yes, I'm currently working on that in progress. It's a work in progress, but I will definitely get a written review to you. And what's nice about those is I get to put it not on my social media, but I publish them in all various different locations, like Las Vegas Weekly News, Windy City Pulse, da-da-da-da-da. So I'll let you know when that gets done, and I'll send it off to you. So that's number 1. Number 2, I was sitting and thinking about, remember when I prefaced earlier and I said people come to me for a reason. I'm starting to find out, I'm a Catholic. I don't know if you practice, but I'm not the best Catholic, but I do stay pretty true to my faith. And one thing that I've learned is God brings you people for a reason. And now I'm starting to figure that out day by day, why they come to me. One of the reasons you came to me is for me to apparently help you do something that's very important to you, and I didn't realize that till you came on. You may not know this, but obviously the film that we're doing, that we're working on, that we're about to shoot is called 100 Looks of Love. And it is essentially an improv. It's 100% improv, and I literally thought of the first 100 words that said the word love to me. And I put it in an outline, I handed it to my actors, and I said, you're going to act this out for me improvisationally. And one of the things that I'm doing at the end of my film, and I put it on social media, was I asked people to send me a look of love, a picture, a photograph. So I would be very honored if you would allow me to keep your sister's image and likeness and her alive in my film. So I was wondering if you would allow me to have a picture of the 2 of you that I could put in this, or a picture of her, because make no mistake that I can see that this is your look of love. And so I'm hoping that you'll let me help you keep her alive that way.
Oh, I would love that. Oh,
Yay!
Cindy, thank you. That's really a wonderful surprise. Thank you so much.
Well, you know, I think it's important. I really do. I think I have a responsibility, and there are plenty of my loved ones that have passed on that have meant so much to me that I'm putting in there besides my own children and memories, and I think that that's important. So that's, you know, that's a big thing. So we have the review. We have that. I would also be very honored because I have this, and I don't know yet because my judges haven't finished with the Los Angeles Festival yet, so I don't know if you'll be showing one of yours yet. I haven't gotten the formal approval. However, regardless of that, I would be very honored if you would allow me to ask you for one of your films to show as a special screening in LA. I mean, it never hurts to have more good film. So you got to give me something.
I would love that. I would love
okay, cool.
that. Of course.
Okay. And then we have one more thing before I get to tell you what I think of you, which is I've been mulling this over for a while, and obviously we all know that I have my New York Festival, and that's staying as is. But one of the things that I'm toying about, and I think it's probably a good idea, is doing what we would call, to you folks in industry, you know what this is, Kickstarter, crowdfunding, things like that, Indiegogo, blah, blah, blah. So I said to myself, because I'm a member of PR and media, I don't just do one thing. I'm involved with everything that helps filmmakers, hopefully to be more successful. I said to myself, what if, and this will probably be a 2019 thing, which is inspired actually by you. This idea just came while we were talking in conversation. I thought about the idea of bringing my celebrity friends and my regular friends, but to me everybody is a celebrity, in one room together, and then inviting 10 or 15 filmmakers, having them all set up a table, and then having 100, 150 people come in, and you guys pitch your product. So if I could get 100, people to come here, and they give $5 to each particular film that day, we could literally do a crowdfunding thing in one day. What do you think? I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think
we should work on that for 2019. It does. So there you go. So thanks, Laura. She just inspired me to do something else that I don't have time for in 2019 on my docket of already filmed. Thanks so much for that, Laura. I appreciate that. So those are your surprises for the day. I always, like I said, I try to make people stay because it's important. We need that. So the last thing on my docket before I let you go is I get to tell you what I think. Just so you know, this is the only part, as a professional writer, I do not write these. So this is completely off the cuff, 100%. I don't think about this. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I just say this because this is what my heart feels. And I do this purposely, folks, because I want you to get an introspect on my cast. I'm all right. I want you to get a full view of this person, not just what I know about her professionally, but what I think of her personally. And I do think that speaks a lot about who she is. So here we go. Just so you folks know, as I mentioned before, I met Laura, obviously, at my film festival for the first time. We had spoken on social media and on email, but this was really our first formal introduction. And so she walked into the room, and one of the first things that she may not know that I thought of her was, there are just some women that you meet in your life and you just say they're just nothing short of engaging and enchanting. The first word that came to mind when I saw Laura was enchanting. Now, let me tell you why. I've always been a big believer that women that are a bit more mature, and that's not to say that she is old, but she is more mature, and with maturity comes age and wisdom and just splendidness. Those three words are the ones that encapsulate most when it comes to her. And then she was very generous. She was very lovely. She was very engaging to talk to on many levels. Number one, in this industry, I'm coming to find that there are 100,000 wonderful actors, and then you'll come across 10 or 12 that are full of ego and entitlement. And this is so far from what Laura Dowling Shea really is all about. She wants to make good projects. She wants to keep the corporate on one side, and then she comes in and she's this lovely creative that says, I really hope that you like what I do. And she does it so graciously that she has no idea how fucking incredible she is. And yes, I said fucking because she could appreciate that. Her work is splendid and spectacular, and she is so beautiful to behold on screen because she's just so unaware of how incredible she is. Part of the reason why I fancy this one particular gentleman so much in my life, and I'm so blessed to be getting to know, is because he, too, is so very unaware of how spectacular he is. You have no idea how inspiring you become to people because you're so grounded on and off stage. You are a miracle to behold. I am so blessed to have you as my friend, and I do hope that I've done you justice today, truly.
You're making me
That's
cry.
what I think of you. Oh, God, why does everybody cry on my show? Come on, folks. Get real. Own your specialness, folks.
Thank you so much, Cindy, and it's a reflection back up to you, really.
Oh, gosh.
It's a reflection back to you. It really is.
Oh.
And you are so supportive and so uplifting and so positive. And I felt the same when I met you. I said, this is a powerhouse, and this is a person I need to know. So thank you for
very
letting
much.
me
Well,
get to know you a little bit better and for sharing me with your audience. I'm so honored to have been here this morning.
And just know, I tell everybody all the time, when you have something new to promote, or even if you don't have something new to promote, just approach me and say, hey, I want to come back on the show. Obviously, I'll reach out to you when the review gets finished, I should say. And dude, take some time to really take a peek at which picture you think best personifies her, because we're in pre-production now. We're going to be filming in November in Wisconsin, December in New York City. So it's likely we probably won't have something till January, but make no mistake that I guarantee you she'll be at the very end of the film. You'll get an opportunity to do. It's a collage. It literally is a collage of 100 people. So you'll see a full-scale collage of all these looks of love. It's really a beautiful way to end the film. So I'm very, very honored that you will allow me to do this. So please get that sent over to me.
I am so honored, and I'm so impressed, and I'm so happy that you're making this film, and I've sort of watched the process, and I'm so fascinated by it. I cannot wait to see it.
Thank you.
It sounds amazing, and congratulations, because making a film is not an easy thing to do.
So trust me, I know. There you go. Now you know why I'm drinking at 11 o'clock, folks. Thank you so much. All right, you go enjoy your day, young lady. You stay in touch, and I'll talk to you soon.
You
Have
too.
a great day, love.
Okay, Cindy.
Thank you, honey.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Tell me she's not phenomenal, right? Thank you. I'm only a reflection of what surrounds me. So my deepest and dearest thanks once again to Laura Dowling Shea for coming on my show. One more time, the two websites, lauradowlingshea.com and scratchthis.theseries.com. She is on social media, Facebook Live, both personal as well as Scratch This, the series. She is on LinkedIn, Vimeo, IMDb, YouTube, and Google+. As far as Instagram, it's LADOSHEA, as well as Scratch This, the series. And then, of course, Twitter as well, Scratch This, the series, and at LADOSHEA. And one more big reminder, November 3rd, although we don't know the time, if you go ahead and Google Baltimore New Media Festival, type in the word Scratch This, you'll be able to find out what time the screening is as far as that goes. And, of course, check out Animal Planet TV for Monsters Inside Me. One more reminder to everybody, Monday's show, the incredible author himself, Vincent Gallagher, visits our show. Please make it a point to get on the show if you would, please, or get on the show. This is how you know I've been talking too long. Please go ahead and check out the Sin's Chat Corner page to be able to find out what time specifically he's coming on. Thanks again so very much to our listening audience for my Sunday show. I'm off to get ready for my cast meeting. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.
On Facebook Marketplace, you can shop for everything from strollers to lawnmowers to video game controllers. You can buy a briefcase from Faith, sell a basketball to Paul, or buy a record player from a neighbor named Taylor. See, there's a face in a book, and a market in a place where we can search and connect face to face. Facebook Marketplace. Buy and sell together.
Get to Old Navy. Right now, get up to 40% off jeans, outerwear, and tees. Plus, grab stylish new jeans from just $18 for adults, $12 for kids at Old Navy and OldNavy.com. Hurry, ends tonight. Valid 10/20 to 10/28, select styles only.